Hey everybody, Kyle Goeth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I've got my first reaction to the new Radio Silence Scream 6. This is the sixth film in the Scream saga, the second one with Radio Silence returning to direct. We have that kind of returning cast from Scream 5 with the exception of Sidney Prescott, who does not appear in the film, but I think most people knew that before they went in, so I don't think that really gets into spoilers. But returning cast from the films, basically anybody who survived a previous film with the exception of Sidney is back in this film, which is kind of interesting to see. So, let me just start off by saying it's probably the most risky and risk-taking Scream sequel yet. You got to give credit to Radio Silence for opening the film and subverting expectations yet again. If you watch Scream 5, they subverted expectations by basically giving us, in Scream 5, one of the kill at the beginning is very classic at the same time, but then it kind of evolves into not being exactly how we expected it to be. 6 does that even more so. For better or worse, I don't know if again, like, a lot of the choices they made were choices that kind of felt like necessary risks to move the franchise forward if you're going to keep making these, so that you don't fall into the pitfalls of doing the same old story again. It's hard to kind of skirt around it because most of the issues I have with the film are spoiler based, and so really would have to be like a spoiler related video. Maybe I'll do one sooner rather than later, because there's a lot of things that I think worked that were risk-taking spoilers, and then there was a lot of things that, like, I don't think worked as well, but I'm glad they tried it. In many ways, it actually kind of solidified my thought. Scream 5, I felt, was the Force Awakens of the Scream saga, because it does hit a lot of the same beats as the original film, even breaking down its own spoilers compared to the original film. Scream 6 feels like The Last Jedi in that it is trying a lot of things. It's sticking kind of to the same, cookie cutter aspect of Scream, but it's trying a lot of new things as well. And I think it's going to be divisive for that reason. I think this is still not the weakest Scream film. By all means, it is not. I still had a good time watching it. I just found that some of the elements in the latter half of the film felt like they were gonna go to a place I wasn't thinking they would, and then they kind of went to a place I felt they would. I think just the reveals that took place at the end, some of the weaker ones in the franchise, I'll say. But I like that, it's kind of combating this conspiracy theory aspect to it. In that, Sam Carpenter and her sister both survived this, but because she's the daughter of Billy Loomis, everyone thinks that she might have orchestrated it. There's a conspiracy theory going around on Reddit that she might have orchestrated the entire events of the previous film because of her family lineage. And I think that that's really interesting how, the previous film combated the idea of toxic fandom. And now 6 is kind of going after the idea of conspiracy theory nuts. And that's pretty captivating as well. Again, I'm trying to really go around the spoilers here, but let me talk about the things I really liked in the film. I thought a returning cast was, again, fantastic. Jasmine Savoy Green, is that it? Who plays Randy's niece, and Mason Gooding, who plays Randy's nephew, who both returned from Scream 5. I thought they were both great. They were both given so much more to do in this film. Jenna Ortega, fantastic again. Our new queen of horror is still doing great. Melissa Barrera is someone that I loved when I saw her in Into the Heights back in 2021. And I think she was great in the previous Scream film. Again, she has kind of a traumatic arc to take in this film and kind of recovering from those events. And I think she does a great job there. The return of Hayden Panettiere is fantastic in this film. It goes, again, that they take some risks with what they're doing with her, and I think, okay, that's really interesting in where they take the character and what she's been doing since we saw her last. I feel like Courtney Cox, initially I was not feeling what they were doing with Gale Weathers because it felt like what they always do with Gale Weathers. So her first scene or two in the film felt like they just lifted dialogue from a previous film. It was that similar. And then they started taking her in a different direction, and I appreciated it. I I don't know that I like everything that is done with her character arc, and she's not a big role in the film, but I just don't know that I really jived with that. There's some things I feel like on a second watch I'll be able to fine-tune certain elements of, but it's definitely a risky movie, and I want that. You know, for better or worse, I want a risky movie. I want a movie that's going to kind of move with the times. I mean, if you remember most of their franchises, by part 6, we had The Curse of Michael Myers, where we find out the entire lineage of Michael's, like, reason for being. In part 6 of Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead is like the weirdest and zaniest of those films. Jason Lives, the 6th Friday the 13th, is about Jason becoming a zombie. Like, all of these movies, when they hit part 6, it's like the risks have to come out for better or worse. And I think this is a movie that wins more than it doesn't. And I think reckoning with the answers we get and the killer reveals is something that might be best suited on a second rewatch. That's how I feel about it, because they take it to some places, and I think for the most part it does work. Again, I'm going to give the film a positive review. I think you should definitely check it out. I think you should avoid the spoilers, because wow, there's a lot of spoilers in this movie. And now I'm wondering what all the spoilers were that were going around beforehand, because I actually stayed away from most of those. So let me know what you thought about Scream 6 down below. And give me your Scream ranking. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So let me know down below what you thought about the film. And thank you for watching the video. You can find all of my film reviews over at goatfilmreviews.com. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can find my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host Nick Plotchuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes every single week. The links are down in the description for that. And we'll see you next time.